how
Yeah.
much money would you say that you had stacked to the side?
4 million. 4 million probably for me. Like about 4 million cash. I remember opening up a gun safe and seeing between like 3 and change and 4 million in cash.
And never during that time did you think, yeah, this is enough. I want to go and just leave this now?
No.
Pin it up.
So you stopped practicing law in October of 2017 completely, right?
Yeah,
What
give or
made
take.
you
Yeah.
what made you finally just step away from it?
It had become such a burden, bro. I was just taking cases for free for like family and friends at that point and representing people from my marijuana trafficking organization that had gotten popped for free. It was a waste of my time. It was a liability. You know what I mean? Like, there's just nothing positive that came from it. It was just like all bad vibes down there. And I didn't want my face around there. I want my face in the hallway. I wanted to slip away.
So you set up the illegal dispensary, the store, right? Now, how long did this exist prior, or it started after you finally quit?
No, it had been going way before I quit. Um, the
The
store,
actual location with the managers and everything?
yeah. I've been running for years before I completely.
Wow.
I've been open probably since the early 2010s because the store had been open for damn near 10 years when I shut it down after the raid, right around there. Yeah. So the store had been rocking.
It's the largest operation in Western Pennsylvania at that time, right?
Yeah, when I got hit, I think so. I was. Um, the store though, it's a retail store that was breakdown. It was a trap. It was like a dispensary trap. It was a trap that ran on set hours with a men dispensary. Now it doesn't seem very innovative because everyone got the right. So it was innovative. But back then, no one had that. Nobody. People might have sold weed out of their crib, but nobody fucking like advertised, turned and and was like, "This is a store. We have hours. This is our staff. Come on down. Here's the dispatch system. Here's the hotline." At least not in Pittsburgh. Maybe in New York, L.A., San Francisco, the Bay, but not Pittsburgh. I was the only person that was doing it at that point. But the store, it had thousands of customers, but the quantity was not high. It's very profitable because we were breaking everything down. We're taking it to the floor, bro. We get a pound and sell 120 grams. We're selling its individual edibles. Like, some people would come and buy one thing and leave, you know? But we would also sell like zips and whatever. But it was a store, a dispensary trap. The wholesale operation was a completely different thing, run out of a completely different location in Squirrel Hill. We had an apartment, and that place was like, it was a distro, like how they have in LA. That was the first distro ever in the side of the country in Western PA. It was basically like Pounds R Us. Like, you would come in the apartment, and there would be no furniture there except for shelving units. And there would just be hundreds of pounds stacked up to the ceiling with signs over them as to what they've taped up as to what they were in a tally, counting down to zero, like slash, like slash marks, hash mark, and there were 3 multi-denominational, like casino style money counters, 3 giant food savers, and then a station with contractors bags so that people could open them, smell them, check them, reseal them. And then the employees would put your order together and you could fit like probably 50 pounds per contractor bag. They would just stuff the bags and send you out the door. And meanwhile, someone's just counting the money as it comes in.
Wow.
Yeah, we were rocking, like rocking.
Okay, at the height of it, right? How
Yeah,
much money would you say that you had stacked to the side?
4 million, 4 million probably for me. Like about 4 million cash. I remember opening up a gun safe and seeing between like 3 and change and 4 million in cash.
And never during that time did you think, yeah, this is enough. I want to go and just leave this now?
No, no, I wanted to make 10.
You wanted to make 10.
Yeah, and then I would have wanted to make 20, and then 30, and then 50, and then 100. Yeah, no, I never, it never occurred to me to stop. No, I wanted it to be bigger, to be honest.
That's crazy, man.
Bro,
So
I got signed to Rhymes Hair. So people were listening to my albums finally. I was on tour. I was the headliner. Why would I quit?
right, right.
I finally got my Def Trucks contract. I'm on tour with LP, man. Like, why would I stop?
And you were the person that came up with that whole operation?
Yeah. No, I
You
built
were
it
the
from the
head of
ground
it?
up. I didn't, and someone said this to someone who was also a major marijuana trafficker in Western PA on federal time. He told me one time, he's like, you're very notable because most people come into this through family or friends, kind of like the mom. You know what I mean? Like your dad, your brother, they bring you in and like, he's like, dude, he's like, you literally built this up. I came to Pittsburgh. I've been selling weed. I came to Pittsburgh with $1,000 in cash, no customers. So I turned $1,000 in cash into that.
You turned $1,000 in cash to 4 million.
Yes.
Just that's just of your cash of and not even like the pounds of weed. So
Yeah, yeah,
how,
no,
okay,
I mean, bro, grossing it would make only about 5% profit. So like if I sold $500,000 worth of weed, I made 25,000 for myself. If I sold 1 million weed in a week, I'd make 50 dance. So I mean,
how
gross,
much do you think the whole enterprise was worth in the end?
we were probably doing 40, 50 million a year worth of weed. Each.
Wow.
Even the low level people in the organization were making 200-ish thousand, 300,000 a year. Then there were a bunch of like middle manager guys that were making for six. Then the people right under me making like seven, or seven, not seven, eight, 800,000. Sorry, 800,000 a year, not a million. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, there were dozens making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, like inside the pyramid.
So you started noticing like around 2018, certain weird things started to happen, right?
Well, like people started getting popped a lot more because like what had happened was during the Obama era, they were a bit kind of a hands off. There was the Holder memo. You know, they were basically like hands off weed. I mean, they didn't say that, but they did. They weren't. They weren't really like they weren't going after it. It was a great point to be in Pittsburgh because it was just illegal enough that not everyone had it. Although even at that point, it was starting to get to the point where it was getting flooded, but nothing like how it is now. You know what I mean? But there was still money in it, but it was like we could operate fairly openly without great fear of something horrible happening for a long time. But then obviously that was wrong because something horrible happened. We just had like a 7, 8 year break where they weren't doing them. But like, I mean, I knew all the people who had gone to prison for federal marijuana trafficking. I grew up in that world, even though I wasn't doing it. So it's like, I mean, you know, you knew it's just like rap, bro. You know the superstars. You know what I mean? You know the dudes that are the dudes that made millions from your side of the city, from your neighborhood, from your high school, whatever. You know, most of the big dogs ended up in the feds, but we were like, that was a different era. That was like the late 90s, the OOs. It seemed different at that point because they hadn't done anything in a long time, you know?
Now, looking back in
Okay, no,
retrospect,
but no, my fault. Yeah, so sorry.
okay.
Sorry. So weird things started happening. Competitors started getting knocked off. Like people started getting in trouble in ways that that were not like one guy got a state case and then the feds came back and picked the case up. So all of a sudden he has a 100 kilo conspiracy. You know what I mean? Like we started seeing there was like just little things too. Like it wasn't one giant operation on me. It was just I was seeing the writing on, seeing just weird shit happening. Like another time, this guy, he was like a mid-level guy. I only fucked with him once or twice. He got picked up on a state case. I think his driver got flipped coming from Michigan with a bunch of trucks. And he said they took him to a room, had like an organizational chart up, like a mob chart, and he didn't know all of this. So I know he was telling the truth. But he was like, this guy was on it. He was at, and then he had these other younger guys under him. He had arrows going to different places with other people. He's aiming all these people. I was like, yeah. I mean, someone knows who the fuck we are, for sure. Because in my paperwork, it said for the feds, they were like, Daniel Music, a major marijuana supplier or the major marijuana supplier for the region.
But you knew that before you got popped, right? What that guy told you?
Yeah.
So at no time we're hearing him say that they got your picture and everything, did you think, I gotta stop, I gotta get out of here or something?
No, because my approach to it was very like, if this makes any sense, it was very mob. You understand what I'm saying? Not that I wasn't trying to think I was in the mafia or something, or anything like that. But like we were very organized and we had set roles, kind of ranks within the organization. Like I ran it like an urban drug trafficking organization. Like it wasn't just like a bunch of like goofy kids selling weed. I ran like this urban drug trafficking court, like one that you would see in a movie. The only difference was we weren't selling crack or heroin. We were only selling, but it was the structure with like boss, lieutenants, supervisors, like street level. You know what I mean? Like I built the pyramid the same way. So the way I looked at it was like someone like me is always going to be under scrutiny. Like it's the same way I think that like it's the same way any drug kingpin would be. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to quit the first time they hear about you because they've heard about you for fucking 20 years. They still got to build a case on you. Or like a mob dude. Like you're never gonna go to a mob dude and be like, they know that you're a criminal. Well, no shit, they know I'm a criminal. I'm a fucking criminal. I do this. You're not gonna quit the next day. This is your life. Like I'm all in, bro. Like if you think I was all in on hip hop, I was nothing compared to this. Because hip hop wasn't paying me millions of dollars. I mean, I was all in. I'm not just gonna quit.
Okay, so on May 24th, 2019, the store was raided. What was
Well,
your reaction?
No, the store was never raided. The wholesale location in
The
Squirrel Hill was raided.
wholesale. Okay.
Because had the store been raided, it wouldn't have been a big deal. I mean, they'd have popped like a couple pounds and that'd have been it. The store didn't have volume. It was a breakdown. The wholesale location is where the problems laid because that's where you're going to have hundreds or thousands of pounds and hundreds of thousands or millions in cash. And they set up on the store a week or two, or they set up on that location a week or two before. They went. This is the Fed, so they're professional. Local cops, they jump the gun. They just come right in. They might have hit it when it was empty, because for 6 days of the week there was really nothing going on. Only one day of the week that it was a madhouse. The Feds clocked the re-up. They let it come in. They followed the money out. They hit the money. Then they came back and hit the re-up. Bang, bang.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you didn't really get caught at that moment though, right?
No. Yeah, no. I was on camera. I was on surveillance, like shaking some people's hands and stuff like that. But
Holding
no,
a box, right?
yeah, holding a box. I had money. That was it. The Feds didn't know who I was relative. They're like, oh, how's just a person? It was only once they started snitching that they were like, this is who he is, and he's the lawyer from that fucking commercial. And that's when I was fucked.
Wow. Okay. So you ended up being like harassed, videotaped, and followed by police for like 2.5 years to like
Yeah,
everywhere, right?
awful. As we're, the Feds, you got to remember, the Feds have an unlimited budget, like unlimited. They can do anything they want. Like they can put 20 people on one person for if they want. That's what they do. The mob, right? Like it literally be like one for one, like one soldier, one beach. You should be like following them around all day long. Like so, like they put people on me. They, I'm sure, tap my phone. They put a camera outside my house, And yeah, they followed that life around for an extended period of time. They did.
And you knew
For
during this time already that they were doing this, like as far as
ab-
like that.
abs- absolutely, because I mean, I watched the raid happen, and I watched my second dream die in front of my eyes. I lost $1.2 million between the cash and the weed. Plus, I lost my business. I had to close everything down, and I just went to ground. I just hit. I didn't change my phone number, and I didn't move. We just literally never talked to anyone ever again, and didn't leave our house for years. I mean, besides for absolutely essential stuff. Then COVID happened a few months later, so kind of just a wave washed over us, and we just kind of faded from memory, because the lawyers were like, "That's your best bet. Just completely become invisible." They were like, "No waves, no nothing." He was like, "Just passively spend your money minimally, make no, don't enjoy anything, just stay low, don't talk to anyone, don't pop up."
At that time, you didn't think, let's leave the country?
Actually, you know what's funny is people did float that to me, including like my dad. You know, he was like the straightest person in the world. He was like, "Get out of the country." He was like, "Go." You know, but I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to leave my wife. I don't think that she would have been comfortable coming with me to be on the run. I mean, we weren't on the run because I wasn't wanted for anything at that point, but potentially be in a situation where she couldn't come back home to be with her family, you know? So I had to kind of eat it and just be like, yeah, I stayed. I just was like, all right. I mean, my lawyers were like, look, like, well, some of them were like, you're fucked, but some of them were like, you have a decent chance of not getting hit because it's just weed. They're like, if you just stay very low and kind of wait this out, you might be able to kind of dig out of the rubble a couple of years down the line and just get on with your life. There's a chance.
But during the 2.5 years or so, you're clean. You're not doing anything
Yeah, I'm
illegal
not doing shit.
anymore.
I'm not doing shit.
You actually get your real estate license, right?
No, no, no. I didn't get my real estate license. I just got heavily into real estate. I
Oh,
just
got you. Okay.
because I'm because again, I had a hunger to win and to do more, do something. I'm sitting here, I'm just passively spending. I need to turn the money after all these things into something that's productive, or I'm just hustling backwards, you know, like it's for nothing. That was my motivation. Create something where I can feed a family. I'm not going to live like I did when I was fucking weed boss number one, but I just want to be comfortable. My girl to be comfortable. We wanted to have a kid or try to have a kid. So I was like, okay, I already own some houses, but it was like for show. It was honestly just to like show my dad I was doing, my mom and my dad I was like doing something. It wasn't like anything I was serious about. So I was like, okay, like, well, let's get serious. Let's try and do something here.
So then who is Will Sr.? Because he ends up committing suicide, right? From the cops like following him.
So like, I mean, so there was an underground hip hop group from Pittsburgh called the 58s. That was like a very famous like street rap crew that were affiliated. Yeah, they did a couple songs with Mac Miller. They had a project called the Mon Valley Miracle where they had like Cormega and AZ on the project. I think maybe Raekwon too. Um, and Mayo, it was B White and B Mayo. And B White rapped about coke, and Mayo was a weed dealer. And Mayo was a fucking maniac. He was like one of the craziest people I ever met in my life. Um, he had big like Gem from the Town energy, but like more animated. He's just a wild dude. And him and I became very, very good friends, bonding over hip hop and our respective profession. And it became after a while that his dad and his uncle both worked for me. Like they were like employees of the organization. And when his dad's job was to like unload the trucks once a week. And his dad was there that day. He didn't get caught, but he got indicted subsequently before I did, a couple weeks later. And then a month or two later after that, he committed suicide.
Man, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's terrible,
They were,
bro.
yeah, I've heard a bunch of terrible. There's other too. Another one of my friends committed suicide. I really think that it was linked to the case. I think he got approached by the cops, honestly, and just kind of like just gave up. Was just like, fuck it, like I'm done. You know, didn't want to tell, didn't want to go to jail. Then he overdosed and died too. A couple of years after his death. So yeah, there's a lot of human wreckage in that case.